Let's save you some time and energy with question banks for classic quizzes in Canvas. I've also got a great tip for you at the very end, so stick around. Let's dive in. To get to the question banks, we're going to go to our quizzes tab over in our course navigation. So along the left-hand side, I need to scroll down a bit until I can click on quizzes. I want to get to those question banks, so I'm going to go over to the right-hand side and click on those three dots and then manage question banks. Now I've got several that are built here already. Yours might be completely blank, but that's okay because we're going to build one from scratch together. Let's click Add Question Bank, and I'm just going to give this a name, and I'm just going to call these Angie's. You can see I already used that, Angie's Question Bank. Let's hit Enter to create that bank, and now I want to add some questions to it. This pencil over here is a little bit deceiving. It allows you to change the name of the question bank only, but we want to add some questions. So let's go ahead and click on the question bank's name. And from here, we can start adding questions. I'm going to click on the Add Question button on the upper right-hand side, and then I can just add questions like I do to any quiz. So let's start with a multiple choice, and I'm going to say, what subject does Angie teach? And then I'm just going to put some answers in here. Math is what I teach, so we could do math, history, science, and we can say PE. I've got the correct one marked. I'm going to go ahead and update those questions, and then I can add another question. Now, I'm not going to be able to get to all of the question types, but if you want to learn more about adding questions to quizzes, take a look at the video down below in my description. For the second one, let's go ahead and add, let's add a true-false question. And this one is going to say that Angie is the best teacher. And I, of course, am the best teacher. So that one is true, and it's marked as true. Great. And I'm going to update that question. Let's just add one more. Let's change this item type to a multiple choice and add that other question. I need to add some additional answers here. I want to do 4. And we're going to say the correct answer is noon, and then update question. Now, of course, you could add several different questions to this. And a really great way to add questions is by topic, not just by your quiz. So you might have several different topics that you've got, say, in Unit 3, and you can use those individually for quizzes, but then you can also grab them as random groups in your review quiz for the unit, for example. Now that we've got our bank created, let's create a quiz using our question banks. I'm going to find quizzes over here on the left-hand side. Mine is towards the bottom, so back to quizzes. I'm going to create a new quiz. You could also do this in modules, but from quizzes here, I'm going to click plus quiz, and I want to use the classic quiz engine. This might not show up for you if you have already selected classic quizzes as your default. So I'm going to do classic quizzes and submit. From here, you can give this quiz a name. I'm just going to call it like Unit 1 quiz. I'm not going to change anything else here. Let's go ahead and do save. And what I really want to do is to edit our questions. So I'm going to edit one more time and then into questions. And this is where we're going to grab those questions from our question banks. There's 2 different ways that you can do that. You can either do it with a new question group, or you can do it with find questions. I'm going to click on find questions, and let's start by adding questions from the Angie's question bank. So I've clicked this. I can add individual questions, and then I can add that single question. I can also do find questions, and I can add, let's go back to Angie's question bank, and I can add, there it is, I can add the other 2, or I can do select all. I can add multiple questions at a time, and I can do add these questions, but we can also add these questions as a group. So if I wanted to add questions as a group, I would click on add new question group, and it says link to a question bank. This is exactly what we want to do. So we're going to link this to a question bank. And let's say that instead of using Angie's question bank, I instead wanted to do some of these exponential function equations. Okay, I teach math, obviously. So I'm going to click on this one, and then I'm going to select a bank. And this is where I can grab a random group of questions. So a great way for students to practice by recycling those questions, or a good way to curb cheating so that students who are sitting next to each other or on the phone to one another don't have exactly the same questions. So I'm going to go ahead and choose 3 questions, and I can also choose the point total for each of those questions. I'm going to let those be 2 points per question, and let's go ahead and create our group. Now I'm going to hit save, and I want to preview this quiz with you. I'm going to preview it here, but you can also preview and take this quiz and then grade it if you do a student view. So you can see that the first 3 questions are from that Angie's question bank, and those last 1, 2, 3 questions have been randomly chosen from that exponential functions question bank. Next, we're going to look at how to upload a quiz bank that you have downloaded from maybe your publisher or your open educational resource site. And we're also going to get your existing quizzes into a question bank. Let's go ahead and start there, and then stick around and you'll see how you can upload an existing test bank. Okay, so we're going to go back over into quizzes. So as we look through these quizzes, we're looking for a classic quiz, and the classic quizzes are the ones that have the rocket ship just outlined, not filled in. Let's turn the questions in this Unit 1 quiz into a question bank. To do that, we need to do an export. So we are going to go to Settings, scrolling all the way down to the bottom of that course navigation. We want to export course content, and we want to export a quiz. So I'm going to go Quiz, and it says Select Quizzes, and I want this Unit 1 review quiz. We're going to create that export, and it will take just a few minutes to create the export file. Now it just says that your content has been exported, but it hasn't been downloaded to my computer. So I've got just one more step here, and I don't want these from previous days. I want this brand new export. So I'm going to click on the new export. This downloads it to my computer. Now we can upload it. So if you have another question bank that you have downloaded from another site, like your textbook or something, this is exactly what you're going to do. They download as these qti.zip files. Let's get this now uploaded as a question bank. To do that, we are going to go to Home, and we want to import existing content. So I'm going to click on Import Existing Content, and then select content type. We're going to scroll all the way down, and we are looking for this qti.zip file. So we're going to choose that, and let's go ahead and browse the files on our computer. And here is the one that I want, and then we'll click Open. And then it says select your default question bank. Now this is only going to drop them into a question bank if you don't have something already filed here. And I'm just going to create a new question bank and call it Unit 1 Review, or Unit 1 Quiz Bank. What we're really going to do though is pay attention to the date and time to make sure that we've got the right question bank. I'm not going to convert it to new quizzes. I'm just going to add it to my import queue. Now that it's completed, we can find it in our question banks. Okay, so back over to quizzes, and I am going to click on the 3 dots to manage my question banks. So manage question banks, and you can see that we've got this last updated. Today happens to be August 5th, and we've got Angie's question bank here, but we want the one that we just did. Here it is. It's our Unit 1 quiz, just as we had named it. Now I've got a test bank that I can use and update for all of my quizzes. Now you're also going to need a great efficient way of creating quiz questions. I've got a video for you to watch here.